I know what it's like. I know what it's like. You want to make the gains, you want to see progress in your fitness, but then the weekend comes around and your buddies are like, or your girls are like, oh, come on, let's go out, let's have some drinks, let's go have some fun, man, let's go to the club, man. And then you find yourself binge drinking that night, going out, same thing over and over again. You wake up the next morning, you're hungover, your workout gets destroyed, and all these things, and it just seems to be happening over and over. I've been there before. A lot of people are wondering, how much does alcohol actually affect your progress, whether it's muscle gains, fat loss, both? So in today's video, we're gonna cover all of that. What's good, YouTube? It's Coach John back again with the gains because I don't drink. No, I'm just kidding. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel if you're looking to get to your goals faster and in a more enjoyable way, okay? And yes, enjoyable meaning you can have alcohol, as we'll go over in today's video. You do not have to cut this stuff out, okay? But before we dive right into it, I'm gonna put some studies at the bottom of my description box below that you can go ahead and check out just to see that the information I'm saying, in case you want to proof check me there, in case you want to credit check me, or in case you want to read more about the effects that alcohol can or cannot have on your progress in the gym. So with that said, it's time to get started. It's important to note the title of this video says alcohol post-workout. I'm really just referring to, let's say you work out and it's Friday night or Saturday night, people go out and drink that night, right? On the weekends typically. I mean, if you're drinking and it's a weekday and this is happening often, then you probably need to watch another video before this one. But anyway, the point is, you know, let's say you worked out today and you're going out later to drink. So I'm not talking about you just finished a workout and instead of that post-workout shake in that 20-minute window that if you don't drink, you're gonna lose all your gains, instead you have a beer. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking is simply you worked out today, later on in the day you're gonna drink, or even on this weekend you're gonna drink. How's it gonna affect your gains? Well, the first thing we have to get out of the way is the law of thermodynamics is still at play here, because it's always at play. That's why it's the law. So anyways, the law of thermodynamics suggests, and again, I'll be putting a study down below just to allow you to read further, as it pertains to alcohol, the same thing occurs when it comes to energy in versus energy out, calories in, calories out. So what I mean by this is, look, if you're looking to lose weight, the same principle applies. You simply need to eat less calories than you're burning. What that means essentially is that you can actually fit alcohol, because alcohol is its own macronutrient where it yields 7 calories per gram, and you can fit alcohol into your caloric deficit, or on the other hand surplus if you're trying to gain, and it's going to yield very similar, if not the same results as if you were to get those calories elsewhere. But that again is strictly from a weight gain or weight loss basis. So on paper you'll be fine if you're trying to lose weight or even gain weight. Now let's talk about metabolism. When you ingest alcohol, it is primarily metabolized in the liver, and when it actually hits your liver, it is prioritized, meaning your liver will stop metabolizing whatever other nutrients that you consumed to metabolize the alcohol, because it actually metabolizes and acts as if that alcohol is poisonous to you. So because of that, it actually has been shown that it may elevate your chance of storing fats, okay? Because the liver again is focusing more on metabolizing the alcohol, it allows it more opportunity to store fats. It basically says, hey, I got some fats, I don't really care about you right now, go ahead and chill over here. That's probably a pretty layman term of putting it. Basically the point is that when you're consuming alcohol, it is much easier, especially if you're consuming excess fats in your diet, there's a higher chance of those fats being stored. So basically a recommendation there would be, if you're looking to fit alcohol in, you should actually borrow from or take away from some fats or even some carbs, since those are obviously the two macronutrients most likely to store as fat in general. All right, so what about binge drinking, okay? Because I'm talking about, yes, you can fit alcohol in your calories, but there must surely be some sort of effect of if you drink too much alcohol. So let's just say that I'm looking to be in a caloric deficit and I binge drink, and a binge drink is referred to as 5 or more drinks in one setting. At least that's what it was referred to back when I was in school. I feel like times have changed. The point is, if you binge drink, you go essentially over your limit, then what happens, okay? Even if you stay within the calories, sure, you may still lose fat, you may still lose weight in that particular case, but binge drinking does have some consequences that are associated with it, of course. However, one thing to keep in mind is they may not be as bad as people sometimes make it out to be. And by the way, that means myself included. After seeing the research, I had to understand that maybe I was a little harsh about the detrimental effects of alcohol. However, there is a very important caveat to note that I'll be bringing back at the end. Now, one of the things that I feel like is a bit of a misconception that has been spread, surprise, surprise, fitness and extreme misconception, those two don't usually go together. Anyways, one of the biggest misconceptions is testosterone levels, and people are under the impression a lot of the times that binge drinking will significantly lower testosterone levels, which will obviously hinder your ability to make gains or keep gains if you're trying to lose fat. Well, the reality is, according to the latest research, there is mixed results, meaning there are some studies that are actually showing a potential increase in testosterone, and on the other hand, there's others that show that there's potential decrease in testosterone by, again, a couple percent here or there, and there's others that are inconclusive of any decrease or increase in testosterone as a result. So basically what we can conclude from this safely for now is that even if there is a slight fluctuation to the percentages that have been shown in the studies, it is just simply too negligible to see any sort of consequence or benefit in the long term. With that said, it does obviously matter the amount of alcohol that we're talking about. Of course, this is all contextual, because if you go blackout where you're throwing up and you pass out and all that kind of a binge drink, versus another person who maybe hits roughly their limit, has a really good buzz, or is pretty intoxicated, but you would consider more so moderately intoxicated, where they're not waking up the next day, puking their guts out and all those types of things. So obviously context is important here. And with that said, it has been shown that, obviously excessively binging and consuming too much alcohol will actually negatively impact your post-workout recovery, mostly because alcohol consumption is correlated with lowering or hindrance of protein synthesis. It actually has been shown to potentially stop protein synthesis altogether, and this kind of comes back to the whole liver prioritizing, and essentially your whole body prioritizing the fact that it wants to get rid of this alcohol ASAP, and it doesn't care what else it has to put off or do to accomplish that. So with that said, the moderate intoxication or less than that throughout a night has not really been shown to negatively impact post-workout recovery or the gains that you would have made from the workout prior. However, obviously, overindulging, drinking way too much, and looking like I did on New Year's a few times is probably not going to be too good for the gains. Another important thing to note, again contextual to the amount of alcohol you're consuming, is that you are likely to suffer poor performance the next day if you drink too much. Okay, so you must keep in mind and prepare essentially that you will probably have a poor performance in the workout the next day, and this would actually be correlated with having the same amount of alcohol that ruins or disrupts your recovery from the previous workout. So with that said, some actionable steps to take based off the knowledge that I brought to you in this video is the following, at least from my opinion, from my insight, and from what I'm seeing, okay? And of course, my experiences with myself mostly and with a lot of clients. The first thing is try to simply drink moderately, okay? Again, I know a lot of clients, a lot of people that just want to have a glass of wine or a beer here and there. That is totally fine, and you will not see any negative consequence from that. When it comes to going out and drinking, again, moderate intoxication should be the absolute max that you aim for if you are looking to prioritize your muscle gains, your recovery, your performance the next day, your sleep, and all these other factors. Another way you could do it is, maybe you're not so good at controlling yourself or whatever the case may be, is that maybe just plan to have a rest day the following day, okay? So just plan to not work out, and that's actually gonna help you focus on recovering from the alcohol itself, as well as the workout, and just giving your body a rest overall altogether by taking that rest day the next day. So, there's definitely a lot of ways that you can plan for it. Obviously, I do recommend trying to track the alcohol in if you're not planning on going way over and you still want to fit it within the calorie deficit or surplus, whatever the case is, then yeah, you can easily track the alcohol that you're consuming, and I recommend you do so, as I always do. The important caveat that I wanted to bring to your attention at the end is, I feel like, or at least should be, the obvious, which is if you're binge drinking and doing it it often, then there's a deeper issue at play, as opposed to just the stuff on the surface that we'll find through studies, but also the fact that if you're binge drinking constantly, and this is something that I truly experienced myself, then you're not going to give yourself the momentum that you need from building the right habits you need to maximize your muscle gains, to maximize your muscle preservation, your fat loss, the body you want to achieve, your fitness and health goals. Okay, they just simply don't go together. A binge drinking session every now and again is not going to be the end of the world, and you can still have built habits throughout all the time that you weren't binge drinking and partying recklessly throughout those times in between that. So that's nothing to worry about. But if you're binge drinking, I would say at least once or more than once a month, then again, it could be detrimental to your habits, because the sleep is going to be off, your motivation is going to be lower, and your eating is going to be off. All these different things are going to come into play, where it's likely to, you can still see results, but it's likely to hinder your momentum game of doing those same amazing habits day in, day out for several weeks at a time without any interruptions, because ultimately momentum does build through that, and it's going to lead to exponentially greater results down the line. This is actually one of the biggest things I noticed, and one of the reasons why almost indirectly or almost unconsciously I was cutting alcohol back more and more and more as I saw more and more momentum. And it's funny because they fed each other. The less I drank alcohol, the more momentum I got as a result, almost automatically. And so it gets to a point where it becomes easier to not drink or to drink less, again, depending on what you prioritize. So with that said, I hope that you found this video helpful, my insights and the information I provided helpful. If so, hit the like button. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you drink often? And what's your experience with all this? I'd love to know that as well. So let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to share with your friends as well, because we all know they're probably alcoholics like you. Just kidding. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'm dropping videos every single week. So I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.